We'll go to Ms. Livingston with the next question, because voters will face another question in November, this one for sure, a referendum on whether the state should expand the Empowerment Scholarship Account Program to all public school students, all Arizonans. What is your opinion on how voters should handle that proposition?
Conundrum. Let me explain. I am school choice 100%, always have been, kind of lived it, with our own choice for our own son. If it passes, then a cap of 30,000 students can be served. If it doesn't pass, then it most likely will go back to the legislature for some sort of rewriting, whether it's next year or in the coming years. As I've always said, I'm in support of it. I will vote yes.
Mr. Gelbart, your thoughts on this referendum voters will face?
So the Empowerment Scholarship Account Program is a really interesting one because it's often referred to as vouchers in shorthand, but it's really more than vouchers. It's a complete funding source for parents to customize their kids' education. They can use part of the funds for curriculum, part of them for online classes, part of them for extracurriculars if they're academic, or even tutors if their kid has a disability. So there's a lot of flexibility and potential in the program, and that's why I support it. The Prop 305 has that 30,000 student enrollment cap in it. That's less than 3% of all students in Arizona. So this is not a threat to our public schools. This is a limited scope pilot program that we should give a shot. And if there's any chance it'll get us closer to the goal of getting every child an excellent education, we should vote yes.
Ms. Douglas.
Thank you. I take a little bit different view consistently than everybody up here because I'm in a very different position from anyone up here. I'm the head, so I take a nuanced view, if you will. I am the head of the agency that has the fiscal responsibility for that program. And it's a program that many in Arizona love and many in Arizona hate. But I don't take a stance on the program because my duty is to oversee the program. So I have to ensure that we are a great fiscal agent for the taxpayer, the public funds that go into that program. And so I want all Arizonans to be certain that there will always be fair accountability on my behalf for that program, regardless of how they feel about the program.
But do you have an opinion on the proposition?
I will not take a stance on the proposition because it impacts the program. I stand ready, willing, and able to implement whatever the will of the voters is.
Mr. Riggs, how would you advise voters handle this referendum?
You know, I'm really torn on this. I believe that parents have a fundamental right to choose and direct their child's education, and the flip side of that coin, a responsibility as well. And I've been a strong supporter of parental school choice, going back to introducing the first such empowerment scholarship accounts bill on the floor of the House of Representatives. But the question really is, will the ESE program be capped at 30,000 additional scholarships? That's the question before the voters. And my advice behind the scenes to the governor, now Congresswoman Lesko, then State Senator Lesko, who reached out to me, was to make sure that any expansion was mean tested to give low-income families parity, if you will, priority and parity. Why do I say that? Because low-income families, it's well documented, are less mobile. They have less ability to take advantage of school choice. So if right now, if we're saying that ESAs are going to be permanently capped at a 30,000 expansion, I say send it back to the legislature and let's means test it.
A no. Mr. Branch, how would you tell the voters to vote on this one?
Thank you. You know, everybody, my name's Dr. Bob Branch, and you know, first of all, our current superintendent said that she's been the most consistent on this. I beg to differ. I actually have. I want to address something on this issue. I called it a Band-Aid before, and some people wrote me on Facebook and that, well, what do you mean a Band-Aid? Well, we have over 1 million students. Over 77% of our schools are Title I funded schools. Our schools are broken. 30,000, and this is all it's capped at, is a Band-Aid. It's not a fix. And to me, it really doesn't go far enough. To me, why cap it at 30,000? I believe in parental choice. I believe that a student, if I had a student in a failed school, I believe that I should be able to take that student out of that school. However, I also believe that as superintendent of public instruction, my job is to fix all of those schools, and that will be my job. Thank you.
How would you vote?
Well, on this right now, I'd vote yes.
Okay. Yeah, it will be a fascinating issue as this goes forward. Next question.
Well, can we just open
Sure,
it up for a
yes.
second? So I just want to comment on the fact that Superintendent Douglas has kind of doubled down on her position that she also talked about in our last debate, where she's refusing to take a position on this, which is really an abdication of the bully pulpit, which is one of the most important roles of the state superintendent of public instruction. And I think it's very important for the superintendent to be a voice and be a leader on these types of issues. And this is not the only example.
Would you like to expand on the reasons behind your no comment?
Once again, it's not a no comment. I have a very different responsibility from my 4 opponents up here. I am fiscally responsible for a program that allocates public money. And it is quite frankly, many people on both sides of the aisle on this one, and whichever side of the aisle they are on, they must be assured that the Department of Education will always be fair. In
Let me
their
ask it-
oversight.
I don't see the conflict there.
Let me ask it this way. Do you think if you expressed an opinion on this program, it would taint voters' opinion of how you are running the program?
They could.
Okay.
I believe
do the
that. They
opponents
can
disagree?
disagree
To
all
me,
they
Mr.
want,
Branch?
but
This all goes to the fact that, you know, at our leadership, there hasn't been the leadership. Nobody has been stepping forward. For instance, Red for Ed, nobody stepped forward. Nobody stepped forward when Governor Ducey put together his panel of experts in this office. Now to turn around on an important issue like this and say, whatever happens, happens, I'll make it happen, I'll do it, to me is as Mr. Gelbart said, a complete avocation
Well,
of
let's
that
say if the voters
pulpit.
philosophocophilically
But the
passed
voters
a program you
elected her in,
philosophically
and she has
opposed
the
to.
she has the responsibility of letting them know.
Pardon me.
Yes,
If
sir.
the voters passed a program that you philosophically opposed, and you expressed an opinion in opposition, do you think the voters would still be able to trust you to enact that
Well, sure,
program?
because it's part of the job. They would have. I would have to do what the voters said to do.
Other opinions, Mr.
Yes.
Ritz?
I believe perhaps Tracy has, but otherwise, and certainly Diane, but I've taken an oath of office. I was elected to high
I do every
office.
2
and
years.
The oath it's hard when you're being constantly interrupted.
Well, he didn't lie about you. He said he takes an oath of office. He said the others also do take an oath of office. If we didn't know you
Just
did,
Tracy.
that's not...
Just Tracy.
Right, but that's not
Okay,
necessarily-
I'll-
I didn't know you
It's
took an oath of
okay.
office.
Richard, I'll just
I'm the commissioner of
retract
Park
it.
and
You take an oath of
I'll
office.
retract it and just talk about my own experience. I have taken an oath of office. 3 times I was sworn into the United States Congress. And when I did that, I swore that I would support and defend the Constitution of the United States and fully and faithfully execute the laws of the United States. There's no conflict between advocating a particular position and also carrying out your sworn responsibilities to fully and faithfully implement and manage policy and the law.
Understood. And Ms. Livingston, do you have a thought on this?
Just very quick, yes, and it saddens me to have to say this. Superintendent Douglas hasn't led in the House or the Senate, the governor's office, quite frankly, or even ABOR for ASU, U of A, NAU. She hasn't been there. What this seems to me, and I say this with great respect, Superintendent Douglas, but a campaign ploy. We have to answer, you are running for office, just answer the question. It's okay.
And I think,
I
you've
have
discussed it.
answered the
Yes, and
question
you've discussed the
several
reason why.
times over,
Okay.
and I've explained the reason
I see
why.
if voters get
Fair.
it.
If it's not
Move on.
acceptable to my
Yes.
opponents, that's their problem.
And one way to look at it is,
Okay.
Mr. Branch, you are providing a director's commentary to the debate. This is good.